super excited. Hey. Hola. Hola.
Es verdad, solo tengo 13. Regáleme uno,
Oh, hey, what's up, everyone? This is Lorenzo with Unicorn Riot. We are here in El Barretal in Tijuana, Mexico, at the migrant shelter. This is like sort of the second iteration of the migrant shelter before. Hello, you can see we're actually kind of at the entrance, so people are bringing in supplies. They're bringing in supplies, a bunch of different volunteers. It's the weekend, way more active. We got a propane tank coming in, keeping someone warm on a little scooter, a little baby carriage. Hello, tarps everywhere. It was a couple days of rain, but it's much different. If you've been following our feeds, this camp has definitely grown since the last time we were here. So I'm going to try to walk you around, see how it goes. Hopefully it doesn't drop, and then sort of just go down. So I'm just going to show you what's going on here in Tijuana, Mexico. You can see there's tons of tents everywhere. These big sort of giant pavilions have been put up now. There was just one before, now there's multiple. So you have another pavilion here, and then a whole bunch of tents below it. Again, if you hadn't known this is happening yet, this place is concrete, so it's a little, not going to get muddy like Benito Juarez as well. And if you, hola. People selling cigarettes. And then, so like there's a lot of all these lines here, donation lines. I'm going to go up here on this little staircase to show you the whole place, but it does look different. I'll give it that. This has a lot more kind of like overhead shelter compared to what it had before. These shelters here, I think, are providing just a little bit of respite from the rain. Where it's, the rain here is like, it doesn't rain for like a week, and then it'll just rain really hard for 2 days, and then it doesn't rain for a week, and then it'll rain really hard for 2 days. So I'm going to come up on these stairs. Hola! ¿Qué manera aquí? ¿Está bien? Just to kind of give you a overhead view. Hola, sorry. Nomás un momento, me voy para atrás para abajo. Gonna bring it back down here again. So this is Tijuana, Mexico. This is the second shelter they built here. They moved everyone here about, it's like 40-minute drive away if you're driving. You can see these mountains here. Sort of to get here, if you're gonna walk to the border, you gotta walk like over those mountains. I'm pretty sure the road that comes over here. So the sun's setting here. It's about, I think it's 3:57 p.m. here on the west coast. Again, we're in Tijuana, Mexico. I'm gonna take it back down, leave these folks to chill. But yeah, you can see like all these, there's all this space is tents all the way down. And then you have like this gathering of people who I think are getting supplies right now. And then, like I said, you have all these new pavilions here with tents underneath them. And you can, these people have like their tent kind of up on a tarp right there to keep it off the ground. And so we're gonna head back down. We're gonna walk around. Then I'm gonna walk you out. So somebody was saying that though this whole area is like it was a concert venue. So people would come in to be like a big concert. And now it wasn't being used. And so that's what they moved this space into. But the other thing too is that there's like one real entrance sort of to this place, which is interesting. So it's like surrounded by walls. And you have like a back entrance over here that's where all the medical stuff is. We're going to go through the middle here. I don't want to... that's everyone's like sleeping spaces, so I don't want to like walk through them too much. Yeah, so like you can see all these tents. A lot of these people are waiting. A lot of people have gotten like humanitarian visas that allow them to work in Mexico. And so I've started doing that. We've met a few migrants who have found jobs in Mexico now and like have got apartments and sort of like starting their lives here. A lot of people still want to apply for asylum. That process has been really slow. We talked to the hunger strike. It's I think on day 8 now. Ahorita no, porque estamos vivos un momento. Estamos vivos. So I'm gonna go this way actually. But and they were saying that like really one of the biggest needs is just like the process of asylum to be faster. If the process of asylum was faster, all these people could decide what they're going to do with their lives after they applied for asylum and they were either approved or rejected. The other thing that there's been a lot of conversation in the United States about is sort of how there is this sort of like a bunch of criminals sort of in this group. But all of these folks have been registered multiple times on their way up. And they, during that time, they're sort of like checked. And so, and they've yeah, so like everyone's like kind of been registered and run through different processes. You can see here, this is like a health zone and also a place where they're getting their visas. And so that was the other thing that at least the Pueblo Sin Fronteras people were saying was like if there is supposedly this big influx of like criminals here, when they apply for asylum, those processes will weed them out anyways. And they've already seen that happen. So like you should just allow them to apply for asylum and then it will just clear itself up. But instead what's happened is there's been like a slowdown in the asylum processes. Nobody's able to go and apply. And now everyone's kind of in hold here. And Mexico is, for what we're seeing, doing what they can to at least accommodate all these folks. And you can see there's thousands of people here. It looks like the camp is even bigger, I would say, than before. At least it's maybe more concentrated in these like spaces underneath here. Like boom, 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 spaces everywhere. And so that's been like sort of the just like the information you're hearing a lot. It's just people are trying to apply for asylum in hopes of being able to go to the United States. People do want to work to support their families and send money back to their families, which I think is like some weird narrative in the U.S. But that's it. So a lot of people are here on hold. But they've been supplied at least with like a lot of humanitarian aid from a lot of volunteer groups that have been coming. The information we're hearing on that is very varied. If you look at our Twitter account, you'll see earlier I tweeted a few pictures that showed some people handing out donations. And what they were telling me was that, at least in Benito Juarez, which is the old shelter where people were first put, it turned into like a muddy mess after rain, and then were moved here, there's still a few hundred people there. But I think the federal police are not allowing donations to be dropped off on the street, and there's so much so they told me they arrested people and charged them with creating a public disorder by supplying those donations. But now locals have opened up their houses and spaces to allow people who are bringing donations in to use that space to be able to give them out right next to the camp, which is allowing them to be able to continue to hand out support to these different spaces. And so yeah, so people here are just waiting now. They've traveled for, understand, like a lot of them like weeks on the road, and now they're sort of in this space now. People look like they're just trying to build a life as they can as they wait to see what's going to happen next. And we don't really know. You know, like I said, a lot of people have gotten humanitarian visas. People from this space, as you're seeing right here, like this is the people's homes. And so people in this space now have jobs, and they go to work from here, and they come back here at night. And so that's what you're sort of getting. Just people are taking advantage of the help they're receiving and trying to build what life they can for themselves in sort of this situation, if you will. I'm gonna look at my phone really quick and see where we're at. But yeah, I just wanted to bring you live here because I hadn't been here for a couple days. Basically, the last day was spent dealing with housing issues. Luckily, that was cleared up. And so I hadn't been able to get out this far. And again, it is pretty far. I've been in a ride that's taken over an hour to get here, you know, just from the border to here, just to give you an idea. And so based on traffic, it's all different. But right now it's the weekend. It looks like the weekend has brought just a huge influx of humanitarian aid and different groups. Like we saw a bunch of nurses, a bunch of doctors who are out here helping. And again, this is also what happened in California when the encampment outside the Walmart in Chico. People came to help people who were stuck, who were homeless, who have lost everything, you know. So it's very common for volunteers and stuff to bring what they can to situations like this and try to help other human beings. A lot of Christians, again, like this. If you're a Christian, like most of these people are Christians. I was gonna tell you the truth. Like a lot of these people, lots of crosses. A lot of people really believe in God. and really thought that God was going to kind of like touch. It was kind of, we heard this a lot, was God was going to touch Trump's heart, and then Trump was going to like open the wall to allow these people to come in. So if you're a Christian and you're sort of disparaging these people, no, these are all Christians. They're like your people, I guess. And so I just wanted to say that. I think it's kind of an interesting narrative to kind of hear so much disdain from like a lot of different folks who are really religious. And they, you know, these people are Christian. I don't know how else to tell you that. Like, if you believe in that stuff, these are your people. And so I'm going to walk back over here. I'm trying to stay out of a lot of people's faces, but yeah, it looks like it really is just a vastly different spot. Like, it's vastly different, feels different than before. There's more people. I don't know, like earlier we were hearing a lot that there was about 3,000 people who were just kind of missing. That there was about 8 to 9,000 in the other camp, and after it was moved, that people kind of dispersed. But now I don't know if like they're showing back up or if more people came. I don't really know. But also that's the other thing too, is there are other caravans. There's more people heading north. And okay, if you don't know, there's just tons of stuff. If you don't know too, like Mexico's got a new government. A new president just came, was just inaugurated. Not sure if that's what they call it in Mexico. That just always works. But and so he like entered a pact with like a couple Central American countries. There's like Guatemala, Honduras, and El Salvador, to create basically a pool of money to kind of like change the economic standing of Central America. And that's what their argument is. They can fix sort of what's been going on in Central America, then they can probably stem the flow of people trying to flee that area. And so that's the other thing we've been hearing too. And then also he has said that they're trying to send aid up here to continue to support these human beings who are all kind of like in this space now, you know. And so yeah, I think. Hold on one second. I'm trying to decide what else I can do. Let me see if there's any questions. Looks like everything's going pretty good here. Again, you're watching this on unicornriot.ninja. That's our website. You can check that out. Thank you to all our people on Facebook, Periscope, live stream, and YouTube. Thanks to all our viewers. Thanks to everyone who's been sharing this out. And then thanks to everyone who's donated to allow us to be out here. So thanks again for keeping me here for a little bit. We haven't been live the past few days. I spent a lot of that time walking around and spending time with people and listening and talking, which is just like really important. It usually changes when you put like a camera on someone's face. And so, voila. So it's definitely haven't been doing quite as much of filming during those times, just so you know. But yeah, I'm still out here. I think Unicorn Riot will be gone on Monday for a little bit. We might come back just based on the sort of how everything turns out when we run all these numbers. But yeah, so we've been out here for a couple weeks. Definitely seen a huge transformation of the situation, but it's still the same. It's just like a lot of people in stasis. I can walk back over. We can look at all the lines of people waiting for information, for support. Again, the hunger strike. A lot of it revolved around wanting people to have access to asylum because that's a human right. It's in the UN Declaration of Human Rights. People have the right to seek asylum in whatever country they want to seek asylum in. It isn't like it's limited in there to a certain country. And they feel it's not being allowed, and so they've entered into a hunger strike. A few days ago, a few ministers tried to walk over with some undocumented children, and the Border Patrol would not let them come declare asylum onto the U.S. soil, so they couldn't even approach the port to state that they want to seek asylum. They were stopped, and they were saying that was illegal. And so that's all the stuff we're trying to track out here. Really fluid, a lot going on, a lot to really kind of like find that really good, like here it is happening. So far I have seen, like I said, the police stopping donations from these to Juarez. We've been hearing a lot of like what's going on with donations here. I'm still looking into it, so I'm not gonna go too into it. But you can tell people are getting stuff, and people are bringing stuff and then trying to get further in here. And a lot of it is like, you know, it's like feminine hygiene products. You saw people carrying a bunch of diapers, a lot of like just like juice, right? Just random like different kinds of food, tons of tarps, coats, sweaters, blankets, you know. So there's like stuff to get people through. And yeah, I think there's somebody. There's like all these people. Like there's people are so clean. It's like, yeah, because people are bringing them clothes, homies. You know, like people need clothes, and people are bringing out what they can. Again, if you go to any encampment in the United States, people are dropping clothes off, and then people get clothes. It's really simple. It is not a mystery, but people always seem to treat it like that. All right, so I'm gonna walk out of the camp. I want to show people what it's like to come in here. I figured that's a very important thing to see, and I'm gonna leave this camp. I know people probably want to see what keeps going on, but honestly, this is it. You know, maybe I can hold on. No, I mean, this is really lit. Like, people are just chilling, living, you know, and trying, like, earlier I spoke to somebody whose friend had crossed over. And they thought was detained by Border Patrol, and they had no idea how to, like, verify it. And they were calling United States numbers, but they only spoke English, and they were just sort of, like, trying to get help to figure out if their friend was okay. And so, yeah, people are still crossing, even though there's, like, a military deployed at the border. There's a wall at the border. There's multiple walls at the border. I know people are talking about the wall. There's multiple walls at the border here, and people are still getting across. And so people are going to do what they can to get to where they want to go. That's just, I guess, how it works out. Man, I'm going to... Well, walk up. Okay. So it's like a cool little stroll. Again, thanks for everyone that joined us. This is just a big space. A lot of human beings, thousands of people here, lots of lines. There's like, someone's playing music. Looks like somebody brought speakers in for music. There's also like people talking about that, like how can people be, you know, after this, saying they're having this terrible journey, how could they be enjoying themselves? But it's like, how do you survive life? That is by trying, I think, trying to find some joy. So there's people who are dancing and sharing time together in this space where they're in, and just trying to get by how they can. You know, I don't think that's really unusual. So we have all of these banners here. The Caravan. Yeah, there's like I said, people are selling cigarettes. Again, that's not unusual. Like, people are trying to like make do and make funds and money how they can. Somebody else was like going out and buying fresh fruit and then coming here and trying to get people like, where are they coming with money? It's like, well, they got jobs, homies. Like, people are getting jobs. And like trading what they can, bartering what they can is super common in a situation like that for it to happen. And so, again, Monday? Sí. ¿Qué dice?
Canadá, esperamos una respuesta de ti. Como se rumora que como que va a...
¿Es mío? ¿Se puede mirar con esto?
Si gusta mi amigo, él es el que... Ahorita lo llamo para que lo entreviste. Okay.
I'll be over there. All right, so they have some Canada banner. They want me to come show it. So they're saying come show it. And so yeah, some people are here doing beadwork, selling cigarettes, doing beadwork, selling beadwork. Again, people trying to make do how they can. Not anything unusual. Now this one says, Canada, I am still waiting for your response. Espero tu una respuesta la caravana. And so yeah, so the people we're trying to seek asylum in Canada as well, and they're waiting for the response from Canada to see if that's going to happen. ¿Quieres hablar? ¿Hablas español nomás?
Sí, español.
¿Qué está pasando aquí?
Está pasando, pues que tenemos una esperanza de parte de Canadá.
You're waiting for Canada? ¿Y qué quieres, Canadá? ¿Qué quieres de ellos?
Quiero una oportunidad para toda mi gente, para todos los que estamos aquí. Pues estamos estancados. Se rumora de que entre nosotros, ¿verdad? Que se mantiene una esperanza de Canadá.
All right, so they say they just want the opportunity for all these people to be able to go to Canada. You know, they want to see if they can get there, and they're waiting for a response. And that's what it says. Like, Canada, I am still waiting for your response. ¿Qué quieres que gente pueda oír qué está pasando aquí? ¿Cómo quieres ¿qué quieres que otra gente sabe que se está pasando aquí? No, my Spanish is bad. ¿Qué está pasando aquí para otra gente que está mirando ahorita? ¿Qué quieres que saben?
¿Qué quiero que sepan?
Sí, ahí está. Okay. ¿Qué quieres que sepan?
Quiero que sepan que pues nosotros aquí estamos dispuestos a ir donde nos toque, a trabajar, porque queremos mejorar las condiciones de las personas que dejamos en Honduras.
Right.
Y esperamos una respuesta del mundo entero.
Yeah, so they say they just want the opportunity to go wherever to work, because they just want to be able to help the people they had to leave behind in Honduras.
Esto es a nombre de Canadá, de parte de toda la caravana, de todo Centroamérica.
Yeah. So this is an ask from Canada from everybody in Central America.
Yes.
Sí, está bien. Gracias. ¿Qué es tu nombre, si quieres? Joseph. Está bien. Lorenzo.
Okay,
mucho gusto, señor. Gracias por hablar conmigo.
Okay. Gracias por estar aquí.
Sí.
Muchas gracias.
Sí, tú también. And so it was, he was basically saying that they want Canada to give them the opportunity to go there. If the United States isn't going to do it, they basically are willing to go wherever to just have the opportunity to like supply support to their families and to themselves, and they'll do it. And they'll send anywhere in the world, like anywhere in the world that's willing to take these folks. They said they'd be down, you know. And so yeah, that's what he told me. He said for everyone, of course, he's one person speaking, but you know, he has like crew. Come on, stuff. Para todo Canadá. Sí. ¿Tú también? Diane. Well, hopefully. I think it'll. Yeah, boom. They're really excited about Canada. I don't know how to tell you. That was like the most like joy I've seen. So everyone has walked up to me like, yeah, Canada. This is the place. This is where we're gonna do it. So I guess to Canada, there you go. You got requests from migrants here. But anyways, I'm gonna walk out now. That just happenstance. My Spanish getting better. A lot of opportunity to speak at Hola, señora. And buenas tardes. I always forget where we're at. And so yeah, so you heard me kind of struggling, but we got there. We got there a little bit. So I'm gonna walk you out. We have a bunch of art being made, and this is the front of El Barretal. I don't think we've shown this enough. So here we go. Still playing music. So they walk in, I had to go through this like little thin area. I'm gonna go back in. So yeah. Soldiers, military folks. So like lots, like the front is just a lot of military. It has a M203 launcher on his rifle. The grenade launcher on his rifle. I don't know. This is the beta group. It's like the group in charge of migration. And the people in the back. I don't know if they're migrants. And so it's like Mexico has so many different governmental organizations that it looks like a bunch of vans bringing migrants back. And so I've been hearing that I've been hearing and seeing, just to give you the information I have, that they're taking a lot of these people to get work visas. They're taking people to get processed. It's kind of like there's all this stuff kind of going on. But the process of asylum is what I've been hearing has just been very hard for people to get. And also, it's like as you saw that whole area, like information like flowing freely and the well-vetted information flowing through there is really tough. And that's another thing that the hunger strikers were asking for, was just like people want to know good information. And then the other thing too is they want to know what's happening to people. You know, like I spoke to that person earlier who said their friend had gone over. They had gone over the wall. They were probably detained, but they had no idea from there what happened to them at all. They don't know if they're hurt. They don't know what's going on. And that's also happened where people here have been deported by the government, by the Mexican government, and there's no list or no way to check on who was deported or not. You know, so they're asking like, how do we know this? Like, how do we know who was deported? How do we check that? How do we, where is that information? And people want it. They deserve to know that. Like, people are being deported, but there's just no way for them to know who or when, or if somebody was kidnapped, or somebody was just deported, or that information isn't freely available, and they just know that people are missing. There are people missing from this area. Anyways, you can see here's some more military stuff, whole bunch of soldiers. And it's like this, again, it's the weekend. It looks like the weekend did bring a lot of folks out. So we're going to bring it over here. And so you have some people handing out some food. A lot of this, like supplies and stuff, people are trying to hand out directly to migrants. A lot of it, the Mexican government is trying to get to kind of put it through this donation center in the center. People are just trying to do direct aid to help people and bring it in, drop it off. And that's sort of been happening here and there. Different reports on how well all that distribution is going. But at least today there is a lot of people here. This is not always the case. During the weekdays, it does seem like there's a lot less folks, at least, helping. But this is the weekend. and it's really brought out people and really changed the feel of the area as we have all this support. Earlier, there was people with California plates, like honking and driving away, you know, shouting mi gente, like my people, you know. So I'm gonna take it up to the front here, and then I think I'm gonna take it down. I just wanted to show everybody we're still here in Tijuana, Mexico. Still, the migrants are still here in the thousands. A lot of them are just in stasis now, trying to decide what they're gonna do. People have jobs now. Some people even have apartments now. And people are trying to make what life they can with what's just available, you know. And it is again, people also have been disappeared, deported against their will. You know, it's not all. I mean, it's very little positive, except for what people are trying to make for themselves. You know, there's not like being in stasis is not a positive experience. So I'm gonna go ahead and take this down unless there's any questions. Go ahead and just let the studio know if they want to go down, they can. Again, I'm Lorenzo. I was just a person who walked you around. I'm part of Unicorn Riot. We're a media organization, a 501c3 educational nonprofit. Thank you to all of our donors who got us out here and kept us on the ground here for so many weeks now. We're going to do our best to keep following the story. It does look like we'll be gone on Monday for a little bit, but we'll probably reset our feet and see what happens from there. So thanks again for joining us, and I don't know. Oh yeah, check out our donation stuff.